Good afternoon and hello everyone. Welcome to the episode 5 of our L-DIH Talks. First of all, I would like to welcome the regular attendees who are with us every Thursday. We are happy to have such people who used to come to our talks weekly. And of course, I would like to welcome the new ones who join us for the first time. In today's episode, we will be closing the section number 2 by discussing the new ways of acquiring new markets or getting new buyers. Our guests today are Stéphane Klein from Traction, Fabrice Croiseau from Intec, Lorraine from Actimage, and Laurent Federspiel from Ceratizit. Before giving the floor to the first speaker, I would like to remind you that you can at any time push your questions in the tab questions. Do not hesitate to send it at any time. If your question is actually after the talk, after the presentation, we can take it by the end of the session as usual today. So without any delay, I will give the floor to Stéphane Klein, partner at Traction, who will be presenting why a good strategy and good execution plan is so important to win new markets. Stéphane, sorry, I didn't put the names. I'm putting the name right now. So Stéphane, it's yours. Thank you.
So, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can hear me. I'd like to explain a little bit how advanced production planning can be a game changer to win new markets. Okay, now it's mixing. Okay, and little agenda. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I really only have 10 minutes to explain it. So what about us? What about me? I'm an industrial engineer from education and worked in a bigger company in the southern part of Luxembourg for something like 12 years. Now I'm a partner of Traction, working in a group of independent consultants, which are huge experience in a huge variety of industries, but also working locally in Luxembourg in the greater region, but as well in overseas. What's the problem? What is the context of the whole explanations that I'm going to give? Today, industry is faced more and more with the fact that on one side, we have lower volumes per part that is produced, on-time delivery, which is an absolute requirement. On the other side, the supply chains are getting more and more complex. But on the other side, and which this is a huge problem, which many companies do not really see it as such today. On one side, they want to go industry 4.0, whatever that means. But on the other side, they are still doing often enough the planning on excellent lead times that result out of it are, well, very much approximative. And these companies deliver at the expense of a huge inventory. So today, we have to deliver good product. The customer is not willing anymore to pay for quality. Quality is something that is given. We can only compete if the price is correct. But on the other side, we must be fast with our responsiveness to deliver a quote, but also to with the delivery of the product itself. So on-time delivery is really an essential part of the whole story, with all the complexity that are given by the circumstances. So in our opinion, there are 3 pillars to success. As I mentioned before, you have to have a quality in your product, quality in your service. You need to have a strategy for your company, whether it's a small company or a bigger one. And of course, you need to have the perseverance to, let's say, continue doing or to really push what you want to do. This is the basis for the success in the future. Then you need to have stable processes when it comes to sales, quotes, order fulfillment. That doesn't matter, which is one pillar. On the other side, you have a staff with your company culture well-trained and educated staff. And the third pillar for us, it is essential. You need to have a very solid and good scheduling process in place with the tools and the utilization of these tools, so that really you do what you have on your, you achieve what you have in your strategy. The basic approach, I put here two little pictures. On left side, we see a person who just found out that our product, our patient, is simply dead. So if you are too late with your analysis, you can only say, okay, well, too bad. We did not meet the customer's requirements. We are, again, too late. We cannot do what we wanted to do. On the other side, what I call here health check is, if you put a system in place that you are examining day by day and very carefully your order, your product, and you find out at the slightest disturbance that something is going wrong, then you are able to do something, you are able to react. Now, coming to the product point of view, what do you want to have? What do you want to schedule? You want to have an end-to-end planning, which simply means you do not only do production planning, but you schedule from the moment that the customer is signing whatever kind of specification down to installation on-site delivery. You want to schedule all your resources, and not only the bottleneck resources, whether they are internal or external. Bottleneck resources, well, you might say, okay, if I have my bottleneck process under control, I'm fine. But who tells you that if what happens if your bottleneck is simply shifting? You do not look at your in-house manufactured components only. You want to have in-house parts, of course, your order fulfillment, but also all the main purchased items that are going into your end product. The thing is, you want to look at all orders and not only those with high priority or high volume, because if you neglect the others, you will always get a wrong picture. On the other side, and which is making it even more complex, on one side you have your real orders and you have potential orders that you can get, and that's what we are talking about. You want to see what else fits in your schedule. So you want to be able to do a what-if scenario, and you want to have everything synchronized to the final date, to the delivery date that you confirmed a certain while ago to your end customer, because we keep ourselves busy with everything in between, but we should not forget that for the end customer, the commitment at the end is the only date that really counts for him. Now, how do you do that? I mentioned before, it's often enough still done in Excel, but the thing is, the software, whether it's Excel or something else, is only a tool. A tool is never giving you the solution. The solution is a good and stable process. On one side for order fulfillment, and on the other side when it comes to scheduling. So if you want to have a stable process, and then we say you need a tool to support your day-to-day business activities and decision making, is you want to optimize your processes and resources for the reduction of cost. You want to have a visibility of the bottlenecks, and you want to take the right decisions. And you want to have not only a view on what you have in mind to do anyhow and what you committed to the customer, you want to have a good view of the true empty capacity, which is not just because it's guessed, because it is derived from a stable method. And this leaves you enough time to come out of your firefighting mode, to spend more time on strategy and the execution and filling your facility. Now, how can scheduling, how can an advanced planning system help? It's, you want to visualize, you want to visualize your bottlenecks. You want to have visibility on empty capacity, but you look at the orders and at your facility from different points of view. From the order point of view, from the resource point of view, you want to have a view on the resource utilization, which is here in the middle, for example. You want to have a look at your inventory of the main components. And this is something where we say it is like the conductor of an orchestra. He is giving the tact to his all his musicians. So our scheduling is really giving the tact to the entire order fulfillment process. And this is, if you apply such a method correctly, it's basically like learning a new language. You will have somebody understanding and talking such a language. And this is going to be the backbone of your company. So we, as well, let's say lean experts, we are helping, and we utilize and we promote a tool that's coming from Japan, which has a very decent amount of customers using it. And we are, let's say, basically also traveling around on one side, helping to establish the processes, and on the other side, to supply the right tool to do this. So the 10 minutes are nearly over. Short summary: if you are aiming for whatever is called Industry 4.0, is you need to have your processes under control. You need to make master scheduling the backbone of order fulfillment, like the chief of the orchestra that I showed you before. And this is crucial to take the right choices and to focus your energy. And here I put a newspaper article, ohne gute Planung keine Industrie 4.0. So without scheduling, no Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 without a proper planning simply won't work. So I guess the time is already over. If you have questions, you let me know, or you can contact us later on. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Stefan. Actually, there are no questions now. Probably you will have later, but I do have questions to you. I would like to know if you can describe a little bit more in detail why the long-term review and the detection of potential problems is so crucial.
Yeah, the thing is, normally in day-to-day life, people are really busy with firefighting. There is no time for root cause analysis. There's no time for root cause solving. And there's also a little time when you're really in operations, a little time for the execution of your strategy. So this means there's also few time to look at which additional orders can we take, where do we have empty capacity, and which simply means you're always late with either your orders and your day-to-day activities. So if you want to be ahead of things, if you do not want to be in firefighting and reacting mode all the time, you need to have this long-term view where you say, I do not only want to know what we are going to do today or tomorrow, I want to see which potential problems we might have in 4 weeks, in 6 weeks, whatever. Why? Because then I still have enough time to do something about it. I want to see problems. So at the moment when we are there, when we are at this moment in time, they are no problems anymore. And this takes you out of firefighting mode and is really help to stabilize your business.
Absolutely. That is the planification, which is usually very important even in any normal project execution. Yeah. So we have a question. So I'm going to share it with you. The question is from the audience, actually. Is it standalone, or can it fully integrate with Industry 4.0 system, ERPs, etc.? So the process,
I assume the question is about the tool that I mentioned, the Asprova. Yeah. Well, the thing is, it can be okay. Yeah, this tool can be fully integrated with whatever kind of ERP system you have, whether it's a small system, whether it's a big system like SAP or Microsoft Dynamics, whatever. But it can also be used as a standalone tool. For example, in small and medium companies which do not necessarily have an ERP system, you can use it as a tool on its own, providing feedback, putting in orders, work sequences, and so on. So if you have a setup in your company, an ERP system, connect it, no problem. If you don't have it, use it in between. But there are all kind of combinations possible where you might have, for example, your customer base in the CRM, but you do not have the calendars in your ERP system. So one way or the other, and the combination of these things. That's possible.
Thank you very much, Stefan. I think I do have one question. If we have time by the end of the session, I will ask it to you.
Okay.
Now I thank you so much. So again, I'm always saying 10 minutes is very, very short, and thank you very much, because all our speakers are succeeding to put their really messages within this 10 minutes. So our next speaker is Fabrice Croiseau. Fabrice is the Intech consultancy CEO. So he will tell us about the new sales channels and how to use these new sales channels to engage with the new customers. Fabrice.
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I will try to show you how we use innovation not only to find new processes or new products, but also to find new customers and to find new partners. And it's often a part of the innovation that is neglected, but which is very important. So just to present Intech, I will try to, okay, fine. In few words, so in Intech, we are a software development, custom software development company working with lots of big players of the Luxembourg marketplace, especially in the financial system and also in administration, but we're also working in the health sector and a little bit less, but we have customers in the industry sector too. We used to work a lot with industry when it was well present in France, but today it's a little bit less than other. And so as everybody say, we will put people or collaborators in the center of the processes, but we also do that, we really do that. People are our sole primary matters. We only have people, we don't have buildings or plants, etc., etc. So we put people at the center. And it's not a proof, but as an example, we are a great place to work for the fourth consecutive year. We hope to have it this year too. And we have a little more than 150 engineers working for our customers. So why innovation? Innovation, usually when you think about innovation, you think about people in a lab or somewhere thinking about new processes, new very difficult algorithm, and creating a new product, or maybe new services, but maybe new products. It's the business side of innovation. But finding new product, new services, and new customers. But we also found that innovation can help us to find new customers on already existing products, because deploying a culture of innovation in our company put lots of agility and time to market, and it appears that we became more and more performant to answer our standard customer on standard product and services, but you are able to respond and to work with them quickly and with more quality, a lot quicker than before, by putting innovation processing in places. It also helps on the marketing side, because when you have innovation, especially when you communicate what you are doing in terms of innovation, it gives you an image, also lots of attractivity, especially on the HR side. Of course, your expertise, because you allow your people to work on new subjects, even on subject, and it's very important here to let them free to work on any subject they want or they found interesting, even it's at the first place it's not a subject you would have considered as an important subject for your company. It's very important the first step to let everybody work on what they want, and usually they don't cook or play. Instead of working, they play, they really work, but on subject very new and innovative subject that you wouldn't have thought about before. And it's very important also to create a network, because you are able to find completely new partners you are not already working with by exploring your subject, only by exploring your subject and going out with a new mindset, you will find new partners that will also help you on the day-to-day subject. So this is why. But why is it so difficult? And is it, because it's difficult. Otherwise, we wouldn't speak about innovation so much. So the main reason, according to me at least, that why it is difficult is that when you look at the keywords of management of your 2000, and also today, these keywords are the ones that are learned by in MBA in school. You are talking about quality, about control, about efficiency, about optimization, industrialization, all very important characteristic on product and processes. But today, when you look at two things, what people are looking, what new generation are looking inside the company, and what are the keywords of innovation, it's more disruption, agility, freedom, creativity, so innovation too, of course. And it's very difficult to make these two set of keywords cohabitate, because when you have lots of freedom, you have also lots of uncertainty, and when you have uncertainty, you have risk, and when you have risk, it's more difficult to control, to measure everything, and to instead of by trust, to be completely sure that you have quality at the end. You have to trust that your process will give quality, but it's very difficult to know that by advance and to control everything. And this is the main reason why creation is so difficult, and why putting creation everywhere inside, putting innovation, everywhere inside the company is so difficult today. And putting innovation as part of the ADN of your company is very important, I think. I'm convinced of that, to survive and to continue to grow in the coming years. But this is why it's so difficult to put that in the ADN of everybody. So our goal is also to help our customer to do that. How? By taking these three pillars of innovation and injecting them inside our consultancy process and also our development process. The first one is curiosity. Don't hesitate to look at things that are not part of your business today. Just you are curious to know things, even if they are not related to technical things you are working on today. Don't hesitate to look at to be curious, to read and to learn, and encourage your employee to do that also. At the first step, it can appear like a waste of time, but it's not a waste of time. It's never a waste of time, at least to my experience. And this curiosity will bring very new and innovative ideas that you wouldn't have thought about before. When you are curious, after the creativity comes. Creativity is the ability to take this new concept, new idea, new thoughts, to build new, or to imagine new product or services or new processes inside your company. And when you have ideas, don't hesitate to go into action, to take action very soon, and to directly try to implement them and to have a concrete result. Because the danger is to stay blocked on one of these two first pillars without deploying and creating something concrete. So it's very important to start by curiosity, but after to come back to it. And yes, at the end, it's a virtuous cycle. You make R&D, you code. In our business, you code. After you grow your expertise, you communicate that outside, inside, and then you come back to have new ideas. And it's a virtuous cycle that you can put everywhere in your organization, not only on the software, we do software on the software development side, but really in all branches of your company. And we have at Intech a very detailed process from inspiration to focus, ideation, where we create ideas, where we organize meeting with our customer to have new ideas, just to generate ideas that we select, that we prototype very quickly, and then when we have prototyped things, we decide if it's valuable or not for the organization. If not, we go back to inspiration or to focus, And if yes, we go to the implementation side, where the project is more classical, and where the goal is to deliver a real product, a real software, or a real service. And all these steps are detailed. They are customizable, of course, depending on the activity sector of our customer, and also depending on the organization, because we try to work with everybody, also people, not management people, also people who are not usually on the R&D side, but we want to work with everybody to follow this process. And it often creates an interesting result, but even without any concrete result at the first time, it gives lots of connection with all your employees. All your employees see that they are really part of the managed decision process. They can really contribute to the goals of the new idea in the company, beside the current work, their day-to-day work. Today we have when I speak now, we are it's 12. We are 2 times 12, but it's just it's another. We have 12 ongoing projects on which we are working. We are trying to find new ideas, and also 12 live projects that we have also that have been selected by our customers to become real product or services. We work with large companies, with startups, also with another very interesting aspect of innovation. I know that I'm at the end of my time, but it's the last slide, I think. It helped a lot to create to connection, and for us, it helped a lot to work with non-NGO and to work on the RSC side. And this was my last slide. I know I spoke very quickly, but I'm open to question now if you have some.
Here and yeah, very concise. So again, I have a question. I always have a question. Have you been applying these innovation processes to yourself, and have you indeed acquired new customers through these innovation processes that you wouldn't have acquired without it?
Yes, definitely, yes. So I won't mention the name of the company, but companies that are quite known today have been launched by some of our customers because we started with these processes with them. We started to think how can we use this technology to disrupt, to change a lot the way fund distribution, and then you will have ideas about what company I'm talking about.
So you would say acquiring new customers rather than, or new buyer, rather than activating in another way your customer. You see what I mean? So you definitely get new customers in that domain. And so would it be possible for you to calculate the ROI of this investment?
So yeah, if you want to calculate the financial ROI, it's quite simple. You take the amount of man days you invest and you compare it to the financial outcome. But the main ROI for us is not this one, maybe, even if it's existing, it's very good. It's the main ROI for us is really the fact that it gives lots of connection to our people and to our customers and to our new customers. And the image of the company is very colored by innovation, creativity, and it helps a lot to acquire this new customer. And another important aspect for us is not the financial ROI, but we are working on lots of projects regarding to social responsibility. Yes, I was looking for the word. And we are investing a lot in social responsibility, and it's also through these processes that you can find new ideas and new connection.
Okay, thank you, Fabrice. You have a question. You can have a look on it. Either you will answer by chat, or I will share it at the end, as you wish.
How long does the project take? So usually, the first phase from the very beginning to the prototyping phase take 2 or 3 weeks, not too much, not more. And it's elapsed. It's not 15 main days per person. It's an elapse of 2 or 3 weeks. After, when we decide to prototype something, the prototyping phase takes between 1.5 months and 2 months. Let's say 2 months to have a first version of what we want to achieve. And after it become a standard project. And after it happens that our customers are creating a specific business for the ideas you have worked with them.
Thank you so much, Fabrice. That was really very interesting point of view. So our third speaker, Lorraine she is RD consultant at Actimage. Lorraine will be addressing another aspect of these new ways that are really necessary to get new opportunities and new customers. Lorraine, it's for you.
Thank you very much. So thank you for the invitation. I'm really glad to be here and to participate this webinar. So as presented, I will present with some real example and some use cases how an accurate knowledge of the digital environment and digital transformation can truly help you in your own business. So first, let me introduce myself a bit more. So I am Lorraine. I work as an innovation and R&D consultant at Actimage. So Actimage has been working hand in hand with multiple partners and clients for more than 20 years as a trustable actor in digital field. So we rely on 5 thematic divisions, which are innovation, strategy, media, technology, and cloud, which gather all the expertise you can need when it comes to digital transformation. So our innovation division, which I belong to, includes the digital lab, which in fact is a team dedicated to accompanying partners in their digital transformation when they want to initiate it or to continue it. So in order to complete the preceding presentation, which included a lot of interesting information, and sometimes in the digital transformation, I will focus on what is digital transformation and how it can help you. So here are some remarkable statistics or figures. Maybe you have already seen that somewhere. So it's important to notice that including connected objects or digital processes or data analysis at the core of the business is more and more needed, common, usual, as it kind of speeds up and enhances your results. So we know it. Maybe you know it, maybe in some way, because you are here today. There are some subjects you are interested in. But maybe you are in the case of this 54% of companies who do not have a digital dedicated team. So there are some companies who are dedicated to help you in this process. This is our case. And just to dig in more in this digital transformation process. So you can see that there are huge statistics about how this digital thing is coming inside the companies. So if you want to be in this run of digital, you have to know where you land in. And one of the first thing is what are the technologies who best suit you. So the first step, in fact, is to know up-to-date data and up-to-date technology, and then to select it and to select which one is the best for you. So with a few examples, I will explain you how it can help you. So the first example, we have been in some project. It's an example of a company which is specialized in foot care. So they sell some associated medical and non-medical device. And with them, we worked on a specific image analysis software. So you could say, okay, image analysis and foot care, what is the link? And in fact, this image analysis was used in the context of fit analysis to detect its shape and automatically recognize important properties that would allow to propose some appropriate shoes or appropriate products. So by this jump into image analysis algorithm, and to propose this new device, which allows to use software. They can now propose food diagnostics in some pharmacies, for example, and they can reach new clients, or maybe reach them in a new way that they would not have before. Another example, which is about mixed reality. So in the slide, you can see some mixed reality glasses, which are the HoloLens ones, that we use in some projects. And we exploit this mixed reality power to speed up and optimize machinery configuration. So in this case, this really does not lead to new markets specifically or new clients, but it definitely enhances the production processes, maybe the resources management also. And in this case, it's an investment to the future, because future automotive systems that will be set up in the company will be quicker to set in place, and the process will be enhanced and ameliorated. So this investment spirit is crucial when it comes to digital transformation, because it's not a one-shot process. Another example, which is about mixed reality also, is that we led some experimentation in an industry company which wanted to enhance its support, its remote support, if I can say. And they wanted to know if this solution, this mixed reality solution, can help them in their remote support. So we had some experimentation to know with them if it simplified this process, and it was the case. So you can see that a lot of really up-to-date and recent technologies can really help you in your day-to-day life in your company. Another thing about the context is about the network, because it's not about only objects, it's also about humans. And the link with an extended network can lead to fruitful partnerships, and then to some way new market ideas or some new ideas. I have the example of a project we're working on with universities, so researchers in social or psychology domains, for example. And they identified, in fact, new markets, or at least a new part of the society, which are the teenagers, who like physical activity. And they want to produce a mobile app to enhance and to motivate a teenager to do some physical activity. And in this process of consortium project, some companies in some industry can be in the process and can be incorporated here, and then can be identified these new market ideas that they would not think about before with this discussion and this new project that are to be involved in. We have some other projects in mind, for example, another one with other companies. It's a little company which produces an algorithm to restructure and index some non-structured documents, some non-structured data. So, for example, electric schemes or electric diagrams, plans, or PDFs. Every society, every company has a lot of PDFs in their data, and they don't really know how to indexate it and how to use it. And this algorithm could help some companies to handle a bit more their data. So there are some ideas of market, of tools that are present in the research, the public research, in fact, also, and they can also help you to enhance your business. And the last, but also the most common and general knowledge is the knowledge of the context, because context, in fact, gather everything I said before. And you have to take into account your internal data, your internal information, but also the context and what happens elsewhere. So when I talk about the context, for example, I can talk about this urgency context, which is COVID-19, which can lead some companies to change their way of acting. And this digital transformation can be, in fact, initiated at this moment. For example, you want to reach much more customers by a website. This can be an initiation of a digital transformation, and by domino effect, initiate this transformation. So it can be a way to see the thing. Another way to see the thing is that every company has a lot of data to handle with. You have all your statistics, all your logistics statistics and figures and statements, and gathering all this information and merging this with external information is in fact the job of a business data analyst, for example, whose job is to make all this data speak to you and be useful for you and understandable for you. And gathering all this information, analyzing all these strengths, all these weaknesses in your company, it can help you to identify what can be done and what can be better, in fact, in this business. So I think that I'm done. So I've been really quick in my talk. As I said before, we have so this digital lab and innovation team. So you can reach me and reach this team by contacting me there. And if you have any question, you can ask it today or maybe another day. So really thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Lorraine. No questions from the audience so far. However, I do have one. What you mentioned, that the new technologies as a tool would be considered as a new ways or would enhance the digital environment and, keep this really as a new way to get new markets. Let's take a chatbot as an example. Would you consider that as a new tool to help? Or any other technology based on AI, for example, or I saw a question like blockchain or these new kind of technologies.
Yes, I every new tool, new technology can be considered as helping you. In the case of chatbots, for example, in any time you have to, for example, have customer relation or customer and clients relation, these chatbots and these automatized tools can help you. They can make you gain time, and this can be applicable in every kind of companies which has clients. And even internally, it can speed up the processes just to select who can answer this question the best, where to find a document, where to find an information. Even internally can help you. So any automatized tool can really help you.
Okay, thank you so much for the answer. No questions so far. Again, we have a little bit time before the last speaker. I would like really to ask you to push your question in the questions tab, because this is the only way that we can share it with the speakers and even share it with the complete audience. So thank you, Lorraine. Now, as usual, in every talk, we end the session with a testimonial, with a case study from a company who did implement it in the frame of their digital transformation journey, a solution. In that case, Laurent Federspiel, who is the head of operational excellence at Ceratizit, will explain how they did that, how they have really been working on this new digital sales channel to satisfy their clients and their customers. So, Laurent, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and thanks also for inviting me here to be part of this session. I try to open here. Yes, I try to open my presentation. So I would like to give you some brief talk about the sales channels, how we are about to adapt them to our customer needs. Probably everybody knows, or hopefully everybody knows, who is Ceratizit. So we are in the hard material where we produce many different types of tools and products. Some pictures showing here a little bit the portfolio of these products. So roughly we have about more than 100,000 different types of products in our portfolio. So as you can imagine, there is definitely need that you also handle your data and that you also bring all your data together. We are handling the entire value chain, so starting from the ore, from the mine up to the forming, sintering, and finishing. And I guess finishing is really one of the most challenging part in hard metals, because it's quite time-consuming, and that's why you need also to have a lot of expertise in this way, up to the sales through our sales channels. And we are operating worldwide in many different areas. So we have about 33 different production sites where we have more than 50 sales subsidiaries. So typically we are working B2B, means that our sales organization as usually goes to customers on meetings and tries then to sell their products, and also based, and that's a very classical model. Based on this, the customer then jointly with our sales organization defines the requirements and the definition of the products, and then we get a definition of the product which we then try to produce. So typically, of course, there are a whole bunch of standard tools. If I take, for example, a drill. So drills, you can also find them here in the local shop. But of course, if you go in the professional area, those drills are custom made because they have special requirements, they have special tolerances, and they have special whatever. And typically, those major clients also have then also specific needs. And of course, the only way we can excel is that we have a good quality, attractive prices, speed as key, and of course the full service, so that we also can go with the customer those new ways and help them develop new product for them. The point is definitely also whenever we talk about a standard product, that's quite easy, because we have online an e-tech store. It's a store like you could compare it to Amazon, except that this is the B2B store where you can find our products, drills, whatever types of products which we are producing. And if you are looking for a standard, of course, it's very easy. You just click into the store, you have your customer account, and then you get through the different products, specifications, and you define your product which you need, your volume, and then you can put it into your basket. You see here on the screen, we have your basket button, and then you can quickly purchase it from stock. So that's I'd say, the easy part of the game of how to bring our products to the customer. But where it becomes much more trickier, that's now, and that's also a tendency in the market, that more and more customers, of course, want to see a custom-made product, and that they would like to have an adaptation on the product. So, and this is up to now was always the way that then you have to call our customer service and then negotiate with a sales or a product manager or an engineer, whoever you have then to refine the process, and then you have to set up the documentation, and then you have to bring it into the production. So we have seen that this whole pre-production process eats up a massive time of the lead time, so that we definitely wanted to improve this, so that we could shorten our lead time, means the time the customer has interest in our products up to the day he gets the product in his hands, so that we can shorten this time radically. And one option was then that we developed configurators, means that the customer is able to define himself whenever he wants his products and custom it as he would like to see it. I have taken here just one example. These are hops, so hops to process teeth wheels. And basically what you do is that you have a sort of a shape. You see this here on the gray scheme, that you enter your dimensions, and those dimensions are quite manifold. and then you get a cat data or file generated on the screen, and you can check whether this is okay, and then you receive an offer immediately. So that's a computer. The calculation is done then automatically, and then if the customer is happy with the offer, then of course he can place immediately his order, and this is totally connected with our ERP system. So the ERP system then automatically also would launch and prepare all the documentation required in our production. Means nobody has then to add any type of documentation to the project, to the product. And when everything is in place, all the materials are ready, all the tools are there, and nothing has to be done, then the production can basically start immediately. So this means without any human interference in this process. Of course, if whenever you have some specificities, of course there is an expert who then can pick up in the case there is a topic which doesn't work quite nicely. So that's just to give you a little bit of flavor. What does it mean? So I take here hops. So that's a tool which you can define lengths, width, whatever, how many teeth it has, and also angles. Every type of parameter which we can offer is then adjustable. Is adjustable through this interface, and then you get automatically a calculation about also on volume, because clear professional customers want also to see a volume effect. This has also been built in, and then based on his decision and also based on his contract, because we have also some premium customers versus the normal customers, so you get then other conditions of sales which have been negotiated, but then everything that has been taken into consideration, and then he can choose, and then he can really quickly react and also quickly launch an order within Ceratizit. So that's basically also a new reaction for us that you can offer then on a very quick way custom-made products. This I just showed you here one example, but basically on all products where we see also need of customization and where also market of customization, we are about to implement those configurators, and then whenever customer would like to do so, they can adjust his requirement. So that looks like quite very easy, but I guess the art is, of course, that you have also to connect this web interface someday to your production, and there it's where it starts to become tricky, because basically you see then this nice pyramid that you have somewhere an ERP system, you also have an MES system on the management level, and then on a layer down on the machine you have your SCADA, which then are working for the supervision of the machines. The point is that in a very heterogeneous machine park like we have it in our factories, there is no real standard. There are many standards, and of course every machine has a private own or has a sort of a restricted access to the system, so that it is quite challenging really to have a complete connected factory. And that's something which is something where we have a lot of people working right now to make this happen, because whenever you are on the top of the pyramid, then it starts to get smooth. A lot of products are being available and can also be purchased. And also, if you see here this pictogram, it looks quite easy, neat. Now, if you sneak into a real view of how we have to connect it and what are the different interfaces which we have to set up, it gets already very, very challenging and tricky. And that's exactly also where we are struggling, because it's a factory which is there for many years, and now we have to jump onto a train of digitalization, which is not always easy and straightforward to fulfill. And if we saw, and I go here back one slide, if we saw now this pyramid, this looks for me also very hierarchical setup. So they have the ERP, which talks to the MES, to the SCADA, to the PLC, and so on and so forth. If I'm talking about Industry 4.0, where you typically get also a net of information, where you then put on top some artificial intelligence, which is definitely worthwhile and also very interesting to do. But that's definitely also from us another league, where you then have first to finish your automation so that the customer can talk to your machines And when this is ready and this is working smooth, then of course we could also add further intelligence coming from the market, where we could then anticipate also new products and also foresee new developments. And that's something, I guess, which is then foreseen in the future of our development roadmap for the digitalization. And I thank you for your attention. So if you have any questions, feel free.
Thank you so much, Laurent. Well, again, another presentation, very insightful, with great examples about how digital and technology would accelerate not only the technological, I would say, production of a site production, but indeed the sale processes and the new market and the new buyers. So I have questions.
Sure.
And so inspiring. How your customers have been accepting this new configurator? Were they really, optimistic or skeptic because, this is a new tool to use?
I have here a technical problem. Someone is trying to call me. Sorry. Okay.
We hear you very well now.
I'm back?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
And we hear you very well.
I got just another. I don't know why this. I'm getting disturbed. So I put the switch not to get disturbed, but it doesn't work. Okay. Well, customers are very. Let's say we take care a lot of our customers, and they are used that they get a personal contact. So it means that they are happy if somebody gives them a call, and so which we see is that major customers, of course, are used to it. That they get a personal. That we care about them, and they are more reluctant in using those technologies. But also we believe that it's also a problem about generations. So the new generations, I mean the normal or the old-fashioned type purchasers, probably the generation of mine, they are used to send emails and to send emails. New generation are much more used to use interactive or robotized processes. So we believe it's something which you have to jump onto the train, because it will switch and more people will use it, but it takes time. So what we see today is that definitely smaller customers, so PMEs, for example, they are the main users of such technologies, because what is the advantage is that you can also at night, at home, you can try to define your product and then get a quote immediately. So which is also a comparison of well, what are the market prices? What are the prices for this product? Should I not switch to the standard, or do I have to have this special tool? So it is a help, but it's a process which takes time and which really needs to keep pushing. But I guess it's something which you cannot ignore, because then you're gonna miss one day is a train.
Okay, so there are two more questions. I would like to go and share it with everyone, and even if we have, we will go a little bit more than 1 hour, because it's really an important subject to talk about. So how versatile is the design portfolio from your customers?
Well, very much. I mean, we have a large sales organization, and we have this e-tech store since a while online. But most of our business is done on personalized business. So it's, I would say it's half-half. So that's half is standard, but half is really custom-made. So it's definitely something which where we have to put a lot of effort in it. And also where it is a lot of cost, of course. And talking about getting your cost model, having also competitive products on the market, that's why we invest a lot into these actions to also to lower our sales costs. Because right now it's costly but also time consuming. That's also something which we have to see. So if many customers would like to have a custom made product, of course it reflects in our engineering department. They have all the projects to process, whereas let's say the easy cases which can already be handled already by a cobot, that can already be treated very easily. So that's why.
Okay. Yeah. So another one, do you plan to have automation between suppliers and you as well?
not yet. I guess it's a step by step. Of course, it's neat, but also you have to see who are our suppliers. So we must also be very frank. Working in the hard metal industry, that's still something very classical. We are talking, yeah. So we have not yet the it's not the techie community where you have all those requirements. So it depends. Based case, first we concentrate on the customer because from the supplier side, what we get from our suppliers is very basic. We must also know that Ceretis, it has a very deep penetration in the value chain. So we control the mine up to the customer. So there are not too many suppliers for us in this value chain.
Okay, I will go also quickly with the two more questions. Yeah, sure. And if there are a lot other questions, please send it then offline, because there is another question that I would like to go with to Fabrice after then you, Laurent. So yeah. Customers always want the best deal. Is there no risk that they will configure and then call you negotiate? And don't you disclose pricing too easily this way? I mean, yeah, the negotiation part, sure. Then it's...
Yeah. But okay, let's be honest. Okay, even without such a tool, customers get different price quotations. So now we also measure it in our hit rate, so that we have many requests of a custom-made product and they never place an order. So that's in this business very normal. And we know that they, of course, then order their parts from competition. So, but it's true to get the best deal. So we have integrated, which I tried to explain. So we have integrated that if you are a customer and there are negotiated prices for a year or for products, that they are also shown up in your systems. That means if you order online or at the sales, you always get the best deal. So that's been made sure, because clear nobody will take the standard price. Since you are a very good customer, he will not then do it. But also, I guess it's also a learning curve. So today, of course, they will give a call. Listen, I got from your system this price. Is this the last price you can offer me? And then it's fast done. So it takes us then a quick time. Whereas before, it's always the manual loop. So it's what we try to do is probably not eliminating the whole process, but at least shrink it to a minimum. And I see here the other question was about what is the impact on the lead time. And exactly, that's key. So we try to minimize this to the maximum. And if it's still just the topic about negotiating a price, great. But then at least we have the documentation has been made fully automatically. No need for engineering, no need for any preparation of the production, no need for running the purchasing, nothing, because this is done everything by ERP and is automatically generated. So even the planification is done automatically. So it is integrated in our planification model.
Okay, thank you very much, Laurent. I'm sure that there are more questions. Do not hesitate to get in touch with our speakers, or even through us. We will, of course, do the boîte aux lettres. Now, I would like to go back to Fabrice, and there is a question for you. I would like to... Yeah, okay. Are your blockchain projects, I'm trying to find it out. Yes, the majority of your running ones operated for single firm or for a logistic chain, Fabrice?
That's fine, so I'm not muted anymore. Yes, so it's true that we are doing quite a lot of blockchain project, and usually they're involving multiple firms. And here it's true that it's this decentralization, which is the main purpose of blockchain, adds some complexity too. And there's two kinds of complexities that is added. The first one is the technical one, making sure that in terms of security and independency of what each of the actor does, without any centralization, that it is that security is preserved, and this is the main purpose of the blockchain technology. So this is often the reason why we use blockchain technology, to make sure that this happens. So it's built inside the blockchain technology. So here there is not much work to do, except using the technology and making sure that it can solve the problem you are working on. The other type of complexity is the governance one, which is more complex because it's not built in the technology. It's who decide to what. So if there is one, so it happens that there is one provider that that is the main responsible for the platform, and it can takes all decision, and the governance can remain centralized. But then we are a little bit aware of the philosophy of blockchain. So very often, and here we also work very closely with InfraChain, which is an organization created by the Luxembourg government and some private actors. In fact, I'm chairman of InfraChain, and we work together to create new kind of governance where multiple actors are working together in order to make a decision to decide on the product, on the future of the services of the product, and to take a strategic decision together in the interest of everybody. We can use blockchain to vote on that, but here it's more an organizational side. And yes, so it adds complexity, but it's achievable, it's workable.
Thank you so much. There are questions. We will do the necessary. Either you can see it, take it offline. But I would like, first of all, to thank all our speakers. Again, very interesting presentations, thought, insights about these very difficult topics. So thanks again for your availability and for being with us. I would like to introduce the next Thursday topic. With this topic today, we have really closed the section 2 that was completely dedicated on how to acquire new markets, how to go with the new business models, how to use the technologies to do that, and why it is important as part of the digital transformation. This third section is very important one because we are going to tackle a very, very interesting subject, which is the talent, the experience, the expertise, the skill, the digital skill. So how to acquire these talents, how to attract these talents, and more important, how to improve the experience or the existing skill of the existing resources inside our companies. So don't miss our next episode. It will be about the first part of this section 3, which is the change culture based on a human-centric method. And our guest will be Laurent Probst from PwC, Michel Moutier from MLC Advisory, Isabelle Milewska from Amazon Web Services, and Eckhard Gadavis from WashTech Cleaning Technology from Germany. And that is going to be a very interesting also testimonial about this, how this kind of industrial company have really implementing a change culture inside, or within the human resources and then the people who are working in the company. Thank you again. Looking forward for next Thursday. Wish you excellent afternoon. Bye-bye.